What happens when a wildlife expert and a beloved talk show host clash on live television in a way nobody saw coming? The cameras were rolling. The audience was laughing. And then everything changed in an instant that left everyone in the studio absolutely speechless. Before we get into what went down, make sure you hit that subscribe button and drop a comment below telling me if you think Robert crossed the line or if Kelly overreacted. Now, let's dive into this unbelievable exchange. The Kelly Clarkson Show was taping another episode, and Robert Irwin was the guest everyone was excited to see. He walked out with his usual charm, carrying a small container that clearly held some kind of animal, and the audience erupted into loud applause. Kelly greeted him with her signature warmth, pulling him into a quick hug before they both took their seats. The energy in the room was light, playful, exactly what viewers expected from a daytime talk show segment featuring wildlife. Kelly smiled and joked about how nervous she always got when Robert appeared with mystery boxes, earning laughter from the crowd. Robert laughed it off, promising that the animal inside was harmless and even likable. When he revealed a blue-tongued skink, the audience reacted with curiosity and mild surprise. The reptile was calm, its blue tongue flicking out as Robert explained how gentle the species was and why they were important to Australia's ecosystem. Kelly leaned back slightly, still smiling but clearly uneasy. She admitted the skink was kind of cute but explained she wasn't comfortable holding reptiles. At first, the exchange felt harmless, even relatable. But Robert's tone subtly shifted as he began talking about how fear of reptiles damages conservation efforts. The room grew quieter as he suggested that public figures had a responsibility to model better behavior. Kelly pushed back gently, saying respect didn't require physical comfort. Robert countered that body language and reactions still sent messages to viewers. The laughter faded completely. What had started as a fun animal segment slowly turned tense, with both sides realizing this conversation was no longer scripted or safe. The audience sensed it, the crew sensed it, and the cameras kept rolling as the mood in the studio changed dramatically, setting the stage for a confrontation no one had anticipated. Kelly tried to clarify her point, explaining that discomfort didn't equal disrespect. But Robert leaned forward, visibly frustrated. He spoke about how subtle fear reinforces harmful narratives, especially when millions are watching. His words carried personal weight, and when he mentioned his father's lifelong mission, the room felt even heavier. The audience sat in silence, unsure how to react. Kelly's expression hardened. She reminded Robert that she had supported his work repeatedly, that she had held snakes and spiders on previous shows despite being uncomfortable. Her voice was calm but firm as she explained that natural reactions shouldn't be treated as moral failures. Robert acknowledged her efforts but dismissed them as surface level, saying tolerance wasn't the same as genuine change. That comment drew a sharp response. Kelly laughed, not out of humor but disbelief, and questioned whether he was seriously accusing her of not caring enough. She reminded him that her show existed to entertain as well as inform. Robert fired back, suggesting that treating animals as entertainment props was part of the larger problem. A collective gasp rippled through the audience. Kelly stood up, anger now impossible to hide. She made it clear she would not be disrespected on her own stage and questioned why he had agreed to appear if he felt that way. Robert stood too, holding the skink carefully, and said maybe he shouldn't have come. The tension was electric, every movement magnified by the silence. When Kelly told him to leave the stage, the moment crossed from uncomfortable to shocking. Producers froze, security hesitated, and no one knew whether to cut to commercial. As Robert walked away, Kelly's final remark about his father slipped out, and instantly the air shifted again. Even Kelly seemed to realize the gravity of what she had said the second the words left her mouth. But it was too late. The damage was done, and the confrontation had reached a point of no return. Robert stopped walking. Slowly, he turned back, his face drained of color, emotion flashing across it unfiltered. He asked Kelly to repeat what she had said, his voice low but shaking. The studio felt frozen in time as Kelly hesitated, uncertainty replacing her earlier confidence. She tried to backtrack, admitting the comment was wrong, but the wound was already open. Robert returned to center stage, speaking about his father with raw intensity. He talked about legacy, about sacrifice, about dedicating a life to educating the world. His voice cracked as he accused Kelly of crossing a line that should never be touched. Kelly apologized again, visibly shaken, but also defended herself, saying she had been attacked and reacted emotionally. The argument spiraled deeper. Robert accused her of treating conservation like a novelty, while Kelly argued that he had turned a simple segment into a personal attack. Both spoke over each other at times, passion overriding politeness. The audience was split, some nodding with Robert's points, others murmuring agreement with Kelly. Kelly explained the realities of hosting a daily show, of juggling countless topics without being able to dedicate her life to each one. Robert called that inauthentic. Kelly called his expectations unrealistic. Each sentence pushed them further apart. The initial topic of reptiles long forgotten. By the time Robert admitted he was exhausted from playing the role of entertainment, the confrontation felt less like an argument and more like a confession. Kelly, arms crossed, challenged him to stop coming if he felt so disrespected. Robert agreed, saying maybe that was exactly what needed to happen. The final exchange was sharp, final, and unmistakably personal, signaling the end of any professional relationship between them. Kelly repeated her final instruction for Robert to leave, her voice steady but strained. Robert nodded once and walked off the stage without looking back. The silence that followed was overwhelming, broken only by the sound of his footsteps disappearing backstage. Kelly remained standing, chest rising and falling as adrenaline slowly gave way to shock. After a moment, she turned to the audience, acknowledging the tension hanging in the room. Nervous laughter flickered and died quickly. She admitted she was shaken and decided not to move on as if nothing had happened. Instead, she addressed the confrontation directly, explaining her side with visible emotion. Kelly spoke about the effort her team put into the show, about creating joy and connection for viewers. She emphasized that entertainment still had value and that not every meaningful cause could be the central focus of her platform. The audience applauded, offering support as she continued. She addressed the mention of Robert's father, admitting regret and apologizing again. She shared her own experience with loss, explaining why grief should never be used as a weapon. Her voice trembled, but her words were deliberate, measured, and sincere. Kelly ended by reaffirming her respect for conservation, while rejecting the idea that discomfort equaled indifference. She looked into the camera and stated plainly that she expected an apology for the way she had been treated. As the audience applauded once more, it was clear that this episode would not be remembered for a cute animal segment, but for a raw, unscripted clash that revealed how easily passion, pride, and pain can collide under bright studio lights.